In September of 2012, I decided to make a checklist, basically almost a wish list of everything that I wanted and the man that I wanted to be with for the rest of my life. Over a period of months and bad relationships along the way, I learned from each one and decided what I did and did not like and wrote them all down. Well, when I finally closed out and realized that I was happy with my entire checklist, it came out to be 81 different items.
I've always been the shy type of guy, so basically going out to bars and everything wasn't exactly my scene to meet, good girls. Did the whole dating website thing, Match.com and all stuff, basically the girls there weren't exactly on the same level as me for actual future relationships. So I figured the only place that would actually be a place where people were actually looking for a relationship was actually a website called christianmingle.com.
On January 16th, 2013, I got a smile in my inbox from a Spinder 31.
I did finally, first thing I noticed about her, of course, was her smile. That's a big thing for me, as all my friends know. I'm a big teeth person, and she had a beautiful smile. So I basically just winked at her, and then we just basically started talking from there.
He was persistent, and we began talking back and forth on Christian Mingle. He asked for my phone number, and I decided to make him wait a little bit longer because I wanted to see how far I could push him, to see how bad he really wanted to talk with me. About a week later, he got my phone number, and we began talking via text.
Eventually, we did meet in person.
We decided that we were going to meet somewhere kind of public and, open, because, you never be too careful about people you meet online. Future kids, pay attention to that.
She still loves to tell the story too. It was actually, I just recently got my Texas driver's license, and the only way to get a gun here in Texas is to have the driver's license. And on our first date, she was running late and I was running late too, so I figured I'd go shopping.
He was late to our date because he had gone to Academy to buy a shotgun. Yeah, that was fun.
When we did meet in the parking lot, I was so excited about it that I actually told her I had a shotgun in the trunk.
He was like, "Oh, hey, come here, come look in my trunk." And I'm like, "Oh, that's a shotgun, okay."
Not exactly good first impressions probably on Leah, but she kind of just shrugged it off as a good joke.
Yeah, that's really gonna win you over with me. Show me a shotgun in your trunk.
It was actually kind of funny. I've always tried to find a girl who always would call me out or, try to see through everything with me. And it was actually kind of funny. We're weaving through the parking lot, and I let her go in front of me to be a gentleman, but also other reasons.
He was like, "Oh yeah, go ahead." And I turned around and I was like, "I'm not stupid, I know what you're doing." And he had this look like deer in the headlights, like, holy crap, she caught me checking her out.
She kind of looked behind me and says, "I know exactly what you're doing." And I'm a very honest person. I was like, "Well, I'm checking you out." The first time I saw her, definitely did see that big smile that I saw the first time when I saw her photo. So I knew her smile was genuine and not just a fake smile. We started talking a lot. We noticed that we had a lot in common.
My initial impression of Mark was that he seemed kind of cocky, but I liked that about him because that meant that he had, confidence, and, he didn't smile a lot in his pictures, which was kind of a shame because he has such a gorgeous smile. He was very kind and loving, and, he smelled fantastic. He smelled so good.
I told her I was a big Blackhawks fan. She told me she was a Pittsburgh fan, which was very shocking, given the fact I came out of Texas and not too many people here in Texas know a lot about hockey. So that was a really big thing for me. We started talking about baseball, and I told her, coming from Chicago, I am a huge Cubs fan.
It was a kind of a funny thing because Mark always talked about how interesting it was that he drove 1,100 miles to another state to go find himself with Southern Belle, yet he finds a girl who's a Pittsburgh Penguins hockey fan and a White Sox fan.
And she threw me off for a loop when she told me she was a Sox fan, and I had to scream and protest saying I did not come all the way down to Texas to meet a Sox fan.
We will always have that playful banter between the two of us.
But once she told me about how she grew up with the Danks brothers and she had loyalty and ties to that only, eventually I know I can turn her into a Cubs fan. She might have some ties to the Sox, but I know when I take her to Wrigley Field, she'll see why I'm such a huge Cubs fan. After dating her for a while, I realized I was very comfortable with her. We could be in the same room for hours on end without saying a single word, and they'll still be completely comfortable without having to break the silence. And she made me completely happy, which is something I haven't felt in a long time. The first time I realized I was ready to be married, especially to Leah, was the fact when, just like in any relationship, there's always the trials and tribulations. There are good times and there's bad times. There was a time where I was laid off from my job and I felt at my lowest, and I needed a separation from her because I didn't know how to handle it. But never did I ever look elsewhere because I knew there was still something there with her, and we worked through it. At that point, given the fact that Leah was probably the first longest relationship I've ever had, if I knew we can get through that, we can get through anything. So once we got back together, and then many, many months later, I came to realize that she was definitely the girl for me. The process for me to get in the ring was many, many years ago. My mother had told me that my great-grandmother Pearl had passed down a couple diamonds to me. My mother had a friend down in San Antonio named Magda, who was a jewelry designer and dealer. I couldn't exactly make too many trips down to San Antonio because Leah's a very clever girl and she catches on very quick. So to keep this concealed from her, my mom would make random trips down to San Antonio, which is fine because my sister's down in San Antonio, so there was no way of knowing what she was doing. Once it was completely finished, Mom went back down, picked up the ring, and brought it back up to Austin. Now, the biggest thing was where and when to do it. We were anxiously coming up on our 2-year anniversary, and of course we are cruise people, so we had booked a cruise for a 7-day cruise. Getting closer to it, I called them up, so I finally just broke down. It's like, okay, look, I am planning on proposing to my girlfriend on board, and I wanted to have a balcony to do it on. I was originally planning on doing it on the balcony itself, and she was thrilled that I chose Carnival Cruise Lines to propose to my girlfriend, and she was able to give me a huge discount. I did tell Leah that I did get the upgrade because they called me specifically, which they have done in the past, and she was thrilled that we were able to get the balcony.
In the weeks leading up to the cruise, Mark was kind of giddy. I could tell that there was a lot of energy behind him, but I just, I didn't really know if it was because, he was excited about the cruise and finally taking a vacation, or if it was for something else. I'm not dumb. I know this would be a perfect setup because we both have a deep love for the ocean, and it would kind of round out everything perfectly. The week before the cruise, Mark had asked me to go get my nails done and told me that he would pay for it. So I started getting kind of giddy and being like, there's really only one reason why a man's gonna ask you to do your nails. And he was picky, by the way, very picky. He wanted the French tips. This is very specific and it has to be this way. Well, all right. I wasn't gonna complain. I was getting my nails done and he was gonna do them for me. Hey.
She had actually befriended a girl named Amanda on Facebook because she was gonna go on the same cruise. They were both conversing back and forth on the boat. So by the time we actually got on the cruise, Amanda and her husband Sean met us at our cabin.
We had a grand old time. We were eating and drinking and sunning.
At this point, I was on pins and needles because I wanted it to be perfect, but if I overthought it about when I actually wanted to do it, then it would have gone disastrous. So while me and Sean were talking in the cabin, her and Amanda were out on the balcony. So from someone who was already married, I knew, I wanted to tell somebody. And so I told Sean that I was going to propose to Leah, and he said, well, when are you going to do it? And I was like, I really don't know. And he came up with the idea, he's like, well, how about we do it the first night, just get out of the way so we can enjoy the rest of the cruise, that way you're not freaking out the rest of the time and everything like that. So I agreed. At
the end of the night, we decided to go sing karaoke. And I got up and sang, and I noticed in my peripheral that, Mark was leaning over just having, little chit-chat conversation with Amanda and Sean, and they looked pretty deep into the conversation.
When me and Amanda and Sean were all talking in the corner while Leah was up doing her karaoke, we were actually doing more talking about when to actually do it. But then that's when they said, let's all grab our drinks and we'll go back to and then we'll go back to your cabin room and we'll do it tonight.
So Mark gets up and he decides to sing Bad Medicine. Right before he starts singing, he points over to me in the audience and he was like, this is for the woman I love. I was kind of like, hey, that's me. And as he's singing, Amanda leans over to me and she says, I think we should all go back to your room after this. And I was like, what? No, I don't want to go back to the room. Are you kidding me? I was like, we're having the time of our lives. Let's go to a show. Let's drink some more. Let's do this. Let's do that. There's so many things to do on the first night. And I was like, do we have to? And she goes, yeah, let's go back. The boys are talking about wanting to go bond and open up that really nice bottle of whiskey that we brought aboard the ship in a sock.
I don't like doing a lot of personal things such as an engagement in front of a lot of people, but Amanda and Sean, we all basically became friends instantaneous as soon as we all met. So to do this in front of good company was just the perfect time.
We make our way back to the room and Mark's a little tipsy, so I'm like, oh, maybe this is why, we needed to come back here because he's kind of, whatever. Mark's standing in front of me and we just were like telling jokes or something like that, and Mark goes, okay, I want to give you your anniversary gift. And he said, but you have to close your eyes. So I put the palms of my hands over my eyes.
I got the ring from the cabinet, which she had no idea anything was in there.
I could sense Mark was close because of his voice. He had touched the side of my face and said, okay, open your eyes. So I had a flash of, this really could be an engagement ring. But I was like, nah. And so I pulled my hands away and he's down on one knee in front of me and I just start bawling, like uncontrollably. I didn't even look at the ring. I didn't care about the ring. I saw his face in front of me like this. I think I was more focused on, and I just leaned over and buried my face in Amanda's lap and I'm just, I'm capable of opening my eyes again and I see Mark in front of me and he has tears coming down his face, and that's literally my favorite memory about that night.
We did go around the boat a little bit to basically scream at the top of the lungs that we are engaged. I am a very anxious person when it comes to good news, so I did turn on my cell phone and I made several different calls that night.
We're in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico and he's calling up people, saying, yes, it happened. She said yes. After I was able to calm down and Mark had officially asked me to marry him, I was taking pictures of the ring and looking at it and everything else, and he was able to tell me that the center diamond came from his great-grandma Pearl, and it was actually from her engagement ring.
When Leah picked February 5th, I figured it'd be perfect for two reasons. One, what better time to have our wedding anniversary than on the same day as our dating anniversary. It's
4 days after our dating anniversary and a day before my dad's birthday.
And two, there's a guaranteed option. I will never forget it. We are actually going to be geeking out for our honeymoon. We are both huge Harry Potter fans, and for many years, ever since Universal Studios had even said that they're opening up a Harry Potter world, we have been fiending to go.
We're going to fly to Orlando. We're going to spend 4 days at the Harry Potter world in Universal, and I'm so excited for that.
We decided, of course, we were going to do a cruise because we are cruise people and we love to go out on the boat because she loves, going to different places. I love just being out in the ocean, coming from a Navy background.
On that Thursday, we're going to drive to Port Canaveral and we're going to get on a cruise ship and go to the Bahamas for a day.
To finish off our honeymoon out to sea, which is where we love to be.
If we came into a little extra money, I'd pull for us putting half away and spending the other half on a vacation.
If I was ever to come into a little extra money, I would say it would really depend on the time what I would do with that money. If it was around the holidays, I would definitely splurge and use it towards Christmas presents. If it was in the summertime, I would splurge and use it towards a nice little vacation for me and Leah. But if it was any other time, I would probably put half in the bank and half towards me and Leah. Just at least save a little bit for a rainy day.
10 years from now, I'm hoping that our family will at least have 2.
My family, 10 years from now, is me and Leah, probably 1 or 2 kids. I've always pictured this in my head just past recent years. I can definitely see my other family, my friends, with their kids, camping and just being fun with life, which is what me and my friends did as kids, and we definitely want to bestow those same values on our kids when we grow up. So I can definitely see me, Leah, our kids, my friends' kids together, just all together as one big happy family.
If we have 3 in 10 years, that means that I've won a couple fights.
On a night like this, the moon sits still and the stars are watching. I could fall in love with you.
Hi Sparky, now our rehearsal dinner. Can you believe that everything's been happening and how much we've been through and how much is still so far ahead of us? I couldn't be happier for everything that's happening right now and everything that's led up to these events. I'm so excited that I get to spend the rest of my life with you. You are my best friend in the entire world and I couldn't imagine my life without you. But the greatest part is that now I don't have to. I'm so excited that we're 24 hours away from saying I do and finally being able to start our lives together. And I love you so much.
Leah, tomorrow's a big day for the both of us. I love you, and of course you love me. Lord knows it's taken me over 15 years to find the right person, but I know I have. I can't wait for tomorrow to start, and basically start, I mean the start of the rest of our lives. I know I can be a good man for you, I can provide for you, and I know whenever we're down, I know I can bring you up. I love you, babe, and I can't wait for the start of the rest of our lives.
But you're silhouetted, the Judas kiss. On a night like this, I could fall in love. I could fall in love with you.
I decided to join. So I have to start over again?
Do not look at the camera. Tell me the story.
I don't want to tell you.
I mean, widen it out.
I look like a, no, I look like a crazy dog person. Don't. Son of a, no.
Yeah, what were the things that you saw in his profile and then when you first started talking that made you want to go to the next step?
To be honest, I'm a shallow person. I thought he was cute.
Well, okay, you say that.
No! How am I supposed to preach to my kids that it's about what's inside that counts if I'm like, I thought your dad was just hot. Well, you know what? I panicked, all right?
My dad.
Happy.
Well, okay. He was already at the church. That's
You've got to be kidding me. It makes sense.
No, it doesn't, but go ahead. Move on.
How did I start that again? So I was like, what the heck? Oh, sorry, I can't say that. Because what?
Not just from his voice. From his voice. I can sense he was close from his voice.
No, that doesn't make sense. One more time.
Words from his voice.
Well, give me a number.
The question is, are you a saver or are you a spender?
What would you do if you got?
I'm about to be a spender.
If you were about to be a spender.
I want a fist fight, and that's why we've got 3 kids.
Okay.
Is that better?
Yes.
Whatever.
All right, so if you're going to go down, well,